Let me tell you something I never thought I'd say out loud. A $900 wooden shed in my backyard almost turned me into a local folk hero, or a cautionary tale, depending on who you ask. Wild, right? That's life in the great American suburbs for you. My name's David Kramer, and I live in this little slice of Boulder, Colorado called Pinewood Estates. I bought my house back in 2018, before the new HOA board came along and decided that making everyone's life miserable was their full-time hobby. And honestly, if you told me then that a garden shed would trigger a 5-month neighborhood war, I'd have laughed, finished my coffee, and gone on with my day. But here we are. So, picture this. Late fall, the kind where the air already has that bite to it, and the Rockies look like they're scheming up another blizzard. I'm sitting at my kitchen table, minding my own business, drinking a cup of coffee that was way too expensive for how bad it tasted. Classic, right? And then, bam, there's this knock at the door. Not just a regular knock, but the kind that says, "I'm here to ruin your morning and maybe your month." You know that knock. Through the glass, I see her, Patricia Donovan. If you've ever seen someone who looks like their main hobbies are Pilates and crushing souls, that's her. Perfect posture, cream-colored pantsuit that probably cost more than my shed, hair that doesn't even move in a windstorm. She clutches her purse like there's gold bars in it. I open the door, and before I can even fake a smile, she's in full performance mode. "David Kramer, you are in violation of Section 12. Paragraph 4. I swear, she had the legalese memorized. Turns out, the crime of the century was building a shed for my generator, because, people here like not freezing to death when the power goes out. Now, I built that shed myself. 3 weekends, a lot of cursing, 1 minor hammer injury. Painted it forest green so it would blend in. If you weren't using binoculars from the Hendersons' upstairs bathroom, first, what are you doing, buddy? You wouldn't even know it was there. But Patricia tells me I've got 30 days to tear it down, or she's going to fine me $200 a day. $200. For a shed. So, I do what any rational, slightly ticked-off homeowner would do. I call my neighbor Frank. Frank's been here since the beginning, knows where all the bodies are buried, figuratively, I hope. He just laughs and says, "Yeah, that's Patricia. Last week, she fined the Chins for having the wrong shade of white in their Christmas lights. The wrong shade of white, folks. This is what keeps her up at night." Frank tells me the new rules Patricia loves to wield were rammed through during some Tuesday afternoon meeting that barely anyone could attend. Maybe, just maybe, the vote wasn't even legal. Now, that's interesting. So I spend the next few days deep in Colorado HOA statutes. Real party animal, right? And what do I find? Any amendment to HOA rules needs a majority of homeowners' approval, not just whoever happened to show up. If Frank's right, the whole thing is built on sand. I send the board a formal letter, all polite but pointed, asking for proof the rules were properly passed. Patricia doesn't even answer. Her lawyer does, and it's a nasty little note. Rules are valid, pay up, or we'll put a lien on your house. Over a shed. That's when Frank convinces me to take it public at the next HOA meeting. Let me set the scene. Pinewood Estates clubhouse, faint smell of chlorine from the pool, 30 or so neighbors, mostly older folks. Lifelong residents. Patricia presides at the front table, flanked by her loyal sidekicks, Ronald the nervous treasurer and Linda the human nodding machine. Patricia starts the meeting by basically calling me a liar without saying my name, and I can feel my blood pressure ticking up. Frank, God bless him, stands up and asks for transparency, wants to see the vote count. Patricia dances around the question until Ronald, looking like he wants to melt into the carpet, finally blurts, 23 residents voted. Out of 147. Less than 16%. The room goes from sleepy to mutinous in 2 seconds. People start shouting about the mid-afternoon meeting, about the endless fines, about Patricia running the HOA like it's her personal fiefdom. She bangs the gavel and tells me I still have 24 days to tear down the shed. Meeting adjourned. The days after, something shifts. Neighbors start coming up to me with their own stories. Christmas lights, mailboxes, vegetable gardens. Mrs. Kowalski, sweet old lady, tells me with tears in her eyes that she got cited for her tomatoes after 15 years. I start documenting everything, making a spreadsheet of every complaint, every fine, every warning. Patterns start to pop up. Patricia and her board target anyone who doesn't toe the line. Some families even left the neighborhood to get away from the harassment. I get a lawyer, Maria Gonzalez. Sharp, no nonsense, and absolutely furious after seeing the vote records. They needed 75 votes, got 23. Open and shut, she says. But she's honest. This is going to be long, expensive, ugly. I spend a night looking at the snow piling up, knowing I can't back down. Not now. I tell Maria, file the lawsuit. And that's when things really get nuts. The HOA slaps me with daily fines and files a countersuit for harassment and defamation. Maria just laughs. That's scare tactics. The judge will toss it. Maybe so, but when you see $200 a day stacking up, it feels like being buried alive. My work starts to suffer, my sleep goes out the window. Even my boss, who's got his own HOA battle scars, tells me, those people are vampires. They'll bleed you dry. And then, plot twist, a local news reporter calls. Jennifer Wu, Denver 7 News. Someone tipped her off about Pinewood Estates. I'm torn, but Maria says do it. So I tell my story on camera, and so do Frank and a bunch of others. Jennifer's piece airs, and man, it lights up the internet. Social media explodes. News vans outside Patricia's house, Reddit threads full of HOA horror stories. Patricia gives a TV interview and looks about as sympathetic as a parking ticket. But just when it seems like things might cool down, Colorado gets slammed by the blizzard of the decade. 3 feet of snow, winds that sound like a freight train, temperature dropping to -5. Power goes out across the city. I fight my way to the shed, get the generator going, and suddenly my house is the only warm, lit place for blocks. Frank calls. People need help. The Chin's baby, Mrs. Kowalski's oxygen, Johnson's pipes freezing. Patricia's gone, clubhouse is locked. You're it. So my place becomes Pinewood's unofficial warming center. 20 neighbors crowd into my living room, eating soup off camping stoves, sharing body heat and old stories. It's actually kind of beautiful. 3 days later, the sun comes out, but the damage is everywhere. Power's still out. We're running on fumes, rationing everything. And who rolls up but Patricia, fresh from hiding out in Denver? She sees my house bustling, storms up, and hisses, "You're running an illegal operation. This is a residential area, not a shelter." I tell her she might want to try helping people for once. She threatens more fines, for visitors, for unauthorized operations, for whatever she can think of. As she stalks off, I call Jennifer Wu and say, "You want a real update? I got one for you." The second news piece breaks Patricia's regime wide open. Neighbors who sheltered at my place go on camera. Mrs. Kowalski cries. Frank calls out the board for abandoning us. And then Jennifer reveals Patricia was filing fines during the blizzard, while sitting safe in Denver. Public outrage hits a new high. The Boulder City Council opens an investigation, the Attorney General gets involved, and residents file official complaints left and right. Patricia tries to weather it, but her support evaporates. Ronald resigns on the spot during a board meeting. Linda tries to defend following rules, gets booed out of the clubhouse. The recall petition rockets past 70% support in 2 days. A new board is elected, Frank at the helm. First order of business is suspending all fines and apologizing to everyone Patricia targeted. My lawsuit. The new board settles fast, rules get rolled back, all fines waived, and they admit the original vote was invalid. Then the real bomb drops. Turns out Patricia's been dipping into HOA funds for her car and a timeshare. She's arrested for fraud and embezzlement. Linda gets probation. Ronald, the only one who cooperated, walks free. Pinewood Estates is free at last. The new board does things right. Simple, fair guidelines, electronic voting, open finances, and yes, they even add a rule protecting backup generators. My shed, the villain of the story, stays right where it is. And you know what? Life in Pinewood actually gets nice. Neighbors hang out, property values go up, people stop moving away. Even new buyers say they love the reformed HOA. A few months later, Maria calls to say the insurance company is refunding every improper fine, plus interest. The board puts up a plaque at the clubhouse with my name on it for helping during the blizzard. I don't feel like a hero. I just feel like someone who got stubborn at the right time. Fast forward a year. Jennifer Wu does a follow-up. She asks if it was all worth it. I think of the money, the stress, the nights I lay awake. But I also remember Mrs. Kowalski breathing easy, the Chin's baby safe, The barbecue where the new board actually talks with residents instead of at them. Yeah, I tell her. It was worth it. Because it wasn't about the shed. It was about standing up when everyone else tells you to just let it go. And now? My shed's still there, forest green and a little weathered, full of tools and emergency gear. The Hendersons who complained moved out. The new couple brought me cookies and asked how to build their own backup system. 11 other households installed generators over the next year. The HOA works with us, not against us. Ronald, the old treasurer, apologizes in the grocery store. I forgive him. Patricia serves her jail time, leaves Colorado, and her house sells in a week. Linda moves away for a fresh start. The past is finally behind us. Was I always cool and wise about it? Hell no. I lost my temper, made mistakes, came close to caving in more than once. But deep down, I knew. If I didn't stand up, nobody else would. Someone had to prove that you can fight back and win, even when it feels impossible. Now I help run the Emergency Preparedness Committee. Yeah, the guy with the illegal shed is now the official generator guy. We even built a new shed behind the clubhouse. The irony, right? I started dating again. Met Rachel, a vet who thinks my shed is cute, so that's a good sign. Last winter, a storm came and went without the power even flickering. But people called to say thank you, just for pushing through all that mess so they could feel safer in their own homes. And one afternoon, I found Patricia's original violation notice at the bottom of a drawer, threats and fines and all. I laughed, tossed it out, and went to Frank's for the Super Bowl. Half the neighborhood was there, eating too much, talking too loud. No one worried about fines or mailboxes or the wrong color of Christmas lights. Frank, in his wisdom, summed it up. Communities aren't built on rules. They're built on how you show up when things get tough. He's right. We were tested, and we passed. That little shed brought us together, exposed corruption, and gave us back our voice. Sometimes, the fights that start over the smallest things end up being the ones that change everything. If I'd just given in, Patricia's petty tyranny would still rule here. But standing up, no matter the cost, set us all free. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line? When does a rule go from protecting a community to choking it? And what's the price of keeping your head down versus fighting for what's right, even if it's just a green shed in the snow? I'd love to hear your stories, your take on justice, right and wrong, or maybe your own HOA nightmares. Drop a comment, share your experience. Who knows, maybe your stubborn stand will be the story that inspires someone else to fight back, too.